My great-aunt died and her 3 children immediately showed up demanding the house and everything in it. Then the lawyer walked in and their faces went white. My great-aunt Linda was 92 when she passed. She lived a long life and honestly just went peacefully in her sleep. No suffering, no hospital, just old age. Me and my grandma took care of her for years. We'd visit her every week, help around the house, make sure she had everything she needed. Her own kids, though? They were ghosts. Linda had 3 children, Michael, Susan, and Robert. All of them lived within an hour of her, but none of them visited. Maybe once a year if she was lucky. They'd call on her birthday and Christmas, and that was it. My grandma basically became her caretaker without even being asked. She'd cook meals, do laundry, sit and talk with her for hours. I'd come along and help with yard work or fixing things around the house. When she died, my grandma called her 3 kids. They said they'd come later. But when it was time to bury their own mother, they didn't even show up. The very next morning, though, all 3 of them showed up with their spouses. We were still cleaning Linda's house when they walked in like they owned the place. No grief, no emotion, just business. Michael immediately started talking about selling the house and splitting the money 3 ways. Susan was walking around pointing at furniture, saying she wanted the dining table and the china cabinet. Robert was in the bedroom going through her jewelry box, asking if any of it was real gold. They didn't even ask how she died. Didn't ask if she said anything before she went. Nothing. My grandma finally spoke up and told them they needed to wait for the lawyer. Linda had a will. Michael rolled his eyes and said they were her children, and they didn't need a lawyer to tell them what belonged to them. Susan agreed and said they'd been patient long enough. Patient? They hadn't seen their mother in over a year. Robert started taking pictures of everything with his phone. Said he wanted documentation of all the assets. They started making plans right there, talking about which real estate agent to use, how much the house was worth, what they'd do with the money. Then the doorbell rang. It was Linda's lawyer, Mr. Peterson. He'd been her lawyer for 30 years and knew the family situation well. He walked in with a briefcase and asked everyone to sit down. The 3 kids looked annoyed but sat anyway. Mr. Peterson opened the will and started reading. The house, all the furniture, the jewelry, her savings account, everything, was left to my grandma and me. Split 50-50. Linda had written that her children had shown no interest in her life and that the people who actually cared for her deserved to benefit from her estate. The room went silent. Then Michael stood up and started yelling. Said it was fraud. Said we tricked her. Susan was crying. Robert kept saying this wasn't legal and that they'd fight it in court. Mr. Peterson calmly explained that Linda had updated this will 2 years ago, that she was of sound mind, and that it had been witnessed and notarized properly. There was nothing to contest. They stormed out threatening lawyers and lawsuits, but nothing ever came of it. Turns out when you abandon your parent for years, the court doesn't really side with you. My grandma and I kept the house. She lives there now, and I visit just like I used to visit Linda. No one ever apologized. They just cut off all contact. And honestly, good. Linda knew exactly what she was doing. Subscribe for more stories like this.